Last time we built a back end for putting up position descriptions, and now what we're going to be doing is moving into putting it into the front page, or the front end rather. At the moment what we have is we've got an employment page but has absolutely nothing in it. So what we'll do is I guess the first thing I'll do is add in a job. So what I'll do here is the create. Remember we've got our job here, and we'll just grab somebody who we'll just call him office manager, and we'll just grab some information here for the excerpt. Just paste that in, and I'm just copying and pasting rather than you watching me laboriously type all this stuff out. Just wouldn't be much fun at all. And we'll do a full text summary here. So here we go. And what else do we need to add? We need an expiry date. Now we'll give a decent expiry date for this. We'll make it the end of July. So we'll do the 30th of July. And it needs a position description, so we'll just grab one and whack that in there. That's uploaded, and create. Now if we look at our job vacancies, we should have our office manager and everything's all there. Now you can probably come along at some stage and tidy some of the stuff up, but at the moment we'll just leave it as it is. So we've got our information, we've got our excerpt, we've got the title, the slug, an expiry. It's not published at the moment, so I better fix that up, I suppose. So let's just click back into that and publish that, and do an update. Yeah, that's more like it. Now that we have that, let's see how we can sort of pull all this stuff into the employment page. And here we are, and we've got a page kind of set up at the moment. Let's go to the plugins folder, head for themes. Our theme is called Acme. Move into pages, and it's employment, and that's all we have at the moment. So we want the title and the summary. One of the nice things that Winter provides is an ability to pull in some PHP, and we do this by adding that into the header, and just up in here. And you need a closing tag here as well. Okay, so let's look over at the plugin that we built, which is plugins. I put it inside a folder called Lucid, and it's called employment. Moving down to the models folder and job. This is what we're going to be sort of using. Yeah. Now we want to use this class here. So let's grab our namespace, and we'll just copy that. The use statement, and the class was actually called jobs. Now there's a request lifecycle in here, so what we need to do is grab the data and get it before we actually paint the page. We achieve that by using a function that's supplied through Winter, and that function is called onStart. And we have a variable called this, the venerable this, and that of course is an array, and we'll just call that vacancies. And that is going to be equal job. Speaking of typos, better fix this one up here. Where is published. And that of course is going to be equal to 1 because it's going to be true, and we'll get that. If you're used to Eloquence, ORM and Laravel, this will all look fairly familiar to you, hopefully. And what we'll put in here, I'll just get rid of that employment, and let's just see what we get back from vacancies. And that of course throws an error because I've made a mistake with my statement, and that mistake is putting these brackets around it. I save that, go back. Yes, this is what we want. So we've got our information. I've just got into our database because I just want to test something first. I'm just going to change that to 0 so that it's not published. And if we go back to our home page, we've got an empty array. Alright, so what I've done here is I've just typed out a simple if statement. This vacancies variable comes from up here, and so if there are vacancies, it should go yes. If there's no vacancies, it should go no. So we should have a sorry, no vacancies exist at this time type thing if there's nothing actually in the database. Now there is an actual issue that I've found with this, and what I'll do, if we go over to here, I'm just going to turn this make sure this is 0. So this should bring us back an empty array. If I refresh that, it says yes. And clearly vacancies should be empty, so why is it doing that? So what I've done here is I've just added a vacancies length twig thing to see how big the actual array is, and I've also got a dump of the vacancies as well. Let's have a look and see what gives when we do those. Okay, so we have a method in there, and the length is 0, so that's actually quite good. I suspect it's because this actual thing isn't empty when it goes into twig. Now if we go back to here, do this as a 1, that state now becomes true. Come back to here, that's yes, and that's still yes. So I think what we'll do is we'll use the length as our test. Vacancies, and then pipe through length. Why can I never spell that correctly? Get rid of this stuff. And in here, we've already got a heading one up the top here. So this is our heading 2, and vacancies. Right, so we've got what happens when there's no vacancies. Let's just check and make sure that we've got a yes. Let's change our database, shall we? Okay, no, nothing is published. And back to here, and no vacancies. Yeah, please check back later. Or check back later. Let's check back later, shall we? So what I've done here is now we've just got our vacancies length, so we're just checking that is greater than 0, and then we're going to go through the vacancies. This will loop through. We've got the beginning of the loop here and the end is down here. Wrap it all in an article tag, give it a heading 3, and we've got just job, and we've also got description here. If we have a look and see what that does, we've now got job description. Reason we've done that, we've got that, is because I've added another one into our database into here. So we've got an office manager and a quality engineer, so we actually have 2. Now we can replace these with proper information. So let's fix this up. I like to wrap this in well, we need a pipe that is raw. Something I like to do, just for a little bit of extra security, is this function here. Let's wrap it inside an HTML clean, and what that'll do is clean out any JavaScript and anything like that may leak into your system. So it saves you from an attack. And we'll add an expiry in there too, so that's strong, closes, and that's a vacancy expiry. Now let's see what we got. Alright, yep, let's fix that up. We'll give it a date format that's a bit more understandable for average readers. So I've got a date, I've given it the day. I've put the date in a slightly logical order, which is the day, the month, and then the year. But I've also made the month a text string as well, just so we don't have any confusion. And save that, and that should give us our expiry dates. Yes. So we need to make our dates sort of work a bit better. I've just added an order by expiry up here, and what that does is puts the expiring jobs first. And if we have a look at our we've got just that 21st of June and 25th of June rather, and 30th of July. Now I've just gone into the database and just changed the expiry to the 30th of May, and what that's done is put this the 30th of May. Today's date is the 23rd of June, so this shouldn't show up. What I've done now, just added a further condition in our statement. I've chained on another method, and that method is the Laravel ORM eloquent where date, and of course the expiry from the database table, and where that is greater than now, so as in greater than today's date. What that should give us is the job that were expired in May should no longer be there. And look, gone. The next part is to create a listing for that job, like a full listing. What we've got available here is, we'll use the vacancy ID. Now we should get a number next to that. 4. Beautiful. Back to here, we can now create a link for that. So we'll just do an ahref, and we'll put this title inside that, and that's going to be employment, and we'll grab this vacancy ID and whack that in there. That should then create a link through to employment with the ID, and when we do that, indeed it does. Employment 4, and of course we get a 404 not found. Not surprising, we need to create that page. We'll create our page, vacancy, HTM, and we need to put some info in there. I'm going to go to the news category post and just grab some of this stuff to start with and adapt it. So on our vacancy page, we've got vacancy. I'm not doing a blog post. It's called a job vacancy. And the URL is employment, and let's like it's ID. Okay, we'll look at our employment page and we'll grab some stuff from that. We'll start with this PHP and pop that in. Finish that off there. That's going to create an error if I don't fix that up. Okay, so we're using models job. We'll just call that vacancy because it's going to be a singular job where ID, we don't need all that. We don't need that. We'll get the first. Now we need to grab the parameter here. What I've done here is we've got the ID and I've replaced this with a function which gets us the parameter of the ID. So this param grabs the parameter, this ID here, and of course compares that to the ID and brings up the first record that does that. So we'll save all that and see what we get. Now I'll just do a refresh and over to here, employment 4, and there we go, we've got the job vacancy, and we need to replace that title, but we've got everything we need here so far. What I've done here is we've got a function called onEnd, and what it's doing is grabbing this vacancy, the title part of it, and making that the title, making this the page title. There we go, quality engineer. Now we need to sort of sort through this stuff here. Now we have the slug, we have the excerpt, we don't really need that. And what we're focusing on is the content in here. Right, so back into here, we're going to make sure this is clean, so HTML clean, and it's vacancy content, and as raw. Okay, so that gives us all this stuff. Excellent. Close of business. We can probably just grab that from here. Just copy that across. Save that. And let's see what we've got so far. We've got our headings, got a page to set up. We've still got our stuff down here. Now there's one more thing to get, and that's our file attachment. Looking over here in our model, which we created as part of our plugin, we've got an attach one thing here. This is how we're going to get our file. So what I've done here is just added another method with PD. Once again, Laravel's Eloquent ORM is the basis that we're using this on. Now if we have a look and see, we'll just refresh this. We should have some extra stuff in our, right down the bottom here. Yep, sample job description, everything. Yep, there's our file. Now, to make it a little easier to see what's going on, what I've done here is the vacancy.pd, and I've just put a line under here, horizontal rule, just so we can separate the stuff out. And what that'll give us is this here is our information. Heading back into our code, should probably wrap this all in an if statement, because you're not always going to attach a position description. So I'll just do that. What I've done here is just, if the position description's there, we're going to add, we've got a position description strong, and what we'll do is we'll add some stuff into here, and we've got title, if it exists, and file name. And this one here, the position description path, I think, is the the variable we're after. And let's have a look through here, and here it is, sample job description.pdf. Click on that. Sample job description. Excellent. So we've now got the job description with it, so all that remains to be done is clean this stuff up. Let's just have a look and see what we've got. We've got, if we go into the back end, we've got 2 jobs in here. Both are published, but one's expiry date is in end of May, and this one is still current as of today's date. If we go to our employment page, the one that's current as of today's date shows. And what we've got here, we've got a link through to the full job description, and we've now also got a link through to the sample PDF as well. So everything seems to be working reasonably well. So looking at our website, what we've got left to do, the employment part is working, is our projects. And that of course is going to be the next phase, where we bring in the categories and these projects and set up project pages and that kind of thing. But until then, thank you for watching. If you like what you've seen, please subscribe, please hit the like button, leave comments, and thank you for watching.